Ruby Bridges and Integration in Education. At just 6 years old, Ruby Bridges became the subject of much controversy in the southern United States. She was to become the first African American student to integrate a public school. Solely based on the color of her skin, she was about to face much criticism and hatred for simply pursuing an education. In New Orleans, Louisiana, schools were segregated during Bridges' childhood. She attended a segregated all-black kindergarten, but once a federal court ruled that Louisiana must desegregate, she was to be the first African American child to desegregate. Ruby and 5 other students passed the entrance examination and were set to attend their new school. Ruby's start at William Frantz Elementary School was met with large-scale protests. Ruby was a brave child and walked past crowds of screaming protesters each day on her way to school. She is quoted as saying that the only time she felt afraid of the protesters was when she saw a white woman screaming at her while holding a black baby doll in a coffin. In addition to the protesters outside of the school, many white families pulled their children out of school because of Ruby's presence there. Ruby's family suffered immensely for their bravery. Her father lost his job, grocery stores stopped selling to her family, and her grandparents were evicted from their place of residence. Ruby persisted in her education, and over time, African American students continued to enroll in desegregated schools in New Orleans and throughout the country. However, today we still face injustice in the school system and in the world. While all public schools are desegregated in 2020, African Americans are still disproportionately disadvantaged in the public school system. Black children are more than twice as likely as white children to attend high-poverty schools. Ruby Bridges was the catalyst for equality between children of all races in the school system, but there is still so much left to accomplish. Additionally, children today face another type of segregation in schools. Unfortunately, many people are against the integration of children with special needs into general education classrooms. There are groups of people who apply the same faulty, separate but equal mentality that existed during Ruby Bridges' time to children with special needs. Many special education students would greatly benefit from partial or full integration into general education classrooms. While we are seeing more and more positive changes in special education practices, just like racial equality, the education system has a long way to go. Ruby Bridges' impact on the education community will never be forgotten, and she will forever be a symbol of bravery and hope for all of those who feel cast off or forgotten, especially in schools.